Sonic the Hedgehog, my favorite franchise of all time. Sure, it doesn't have the best track record, nor really the best stories, but thanks to its colorful cast, unique worlds and lore, it inspired my creativity and my interest in gaming and storytelling in general. I remember as a little child, playing Sonic Heroes on the Xbox, watching Sonic X on the TV every weekend, and being charmed by its world and the spiky fast hedgehog that inhabits it. These games envelop me with a blistering sense of speed, a rush of power, and tries to innovate every time. While not everything is perfect, I admire the series for its cunning approach to spice things up.
And I know some Sonic stories in the games can be pretty bad.
You're going straight to hell!
You'll have to get by my greatest inventions ever! My wonderful math robot!
But some stories are really good.
Every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
So it's not like the series is incapable of making something fun, interesting, and sometimes a little thought-provoking.
But honestly, no story angers me more than Sonic Lost World.
Sonic Lost World was a game for the Wii U and 3DS, later Steam, as part of a deal Nintendo made with Sega to have 3 Sonic games exclusive to Nintendo consoles. It was the second game in that deal, behind Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games, and followed by the infamous Sonic Boom games. I never played the 3DS version myself, but the story's more or less the same. We're taking a look at the Wii U version, just letting you know in case there's any difference to the story as some game versions do.
Now, I'm not a game reviewer. I review stories. I'm not an expert on level design, coding, things of that nature, but I do think we should shed some light on the gameplay at least a bit. And keep in mind, my thoughts on the story does not reflect my thoughts on the game. They're two different things in my opinion. That said, as a game, I actually quite like this one.
Sonic Lost World is a more slow-paced game in the Sonic series. Now, it's not Sonic Labyrinth slow where Sonic can only walk, but here, you can choose the pace you want Sonic to go in. He can either jog slowly, run normally, or spin dash to pick up some major speed, all by holding the triggers of the controllers. I actually quite like this gameplay choice, as it gives me full control on how precise I want Sonic to be when it comes to platforming. In terms of moves, Sonic can jump, double jump, homing attack, bounce, and roll. Nothing new, except for 2 additions. Sonic can now do parkour! What's parkour?
This is parkour. Internet sensation of 2004. The goal is to get from point A to point B as creatively as possible. So technically they are doing parkour as long as point A is delusion and point B is the hospital.
Now, Sonic won't go to the hospital, but instead this helps with exploration. Sonic can run across, hop from wall to wall. He's like a hedgehog Spider-Man to help you obtain special collectibles. Sonic also has this kick maneuver and charging homing attacks. It helps take down more fortified enemies and bosses faster, but that's about it. There's also the Wisps from Sonic Colors. They're there, I guess. No rhyme or reason, especially since this isn't even their home planet, but okay. And let's not forget the fun, circular level design, which is more open-ended, but definitely draws some striking parallels. But overall, Sonic Lost World was a pretty good experience when it comes to gameplay. Fun design, tight controls that let you play the way you want, excellent music. My only gripes are certain levels that try to change things up. I can't for the life of me enjoy these snowball controls!
I know this game has a bit of a mixed reception among most Sonic fans, but I really do like it, especially the DLC levels.
There's DLC to play in a stage based on another Sega property, Nights into Dreams. For the Wii U version, you can also play in levels based on The Legend of Zelda and Yoshi's Island. Just look how awesome Sonic dressed as Link is!
Okay, now I'm stalling. It's time to cover the story. Let's cut to it.
So the story starts with a classic Sonic setup. Eggman has captured some woodland creatures to turn into a robot army, and Sonic and Tails, on board their plane the Tornado, set off to get them back.
Drop the critters, Eggman!
Eggman then proceeds to drop the container to what seemingly is an endless abyss. Sonic and Tails naturally catch to it to no avail, leaving them open for Eggman to shoot down the Tornado.
So, does Eggman really have a means to get back the animal containers that he's dropped? Because in the levels, there's like hundreds of them all over the place. If not, that's a complete waste of resources and work. But get used to this game not explaining anything.
Trying to maintain themselves after the fatal landing on the tornado's wing, Sonic points out the location where they're landing.
Oh, what's that in the clouds?
That must be the Lost Hex!
Yeah, the Lost Hex. Wait, what is the Lost Hex?
Hey, Tails, mind telling us what this mysterious new planet is? Since it seems to be in Earth's atmosphere, was it always there? Is it like Little Planet in Sonic CD where it's explicitly stated in the manual that it happens every so often as some sort of event like an eclipse?
Hold on, maybe the manual will explain it.
Nobody tells us where this planet came from, or how people know about it. Guess the Lost Hex isn't so lost if Tails knew what it is. Nobody tells us it's some sort of ancient planet that has gone missing, so is this public knowledge? Amy and Knuckles don't seem at all shocked at those two on this new planet later on, so I assume so.
Then you can't even call it the Lost Hex. You might as well call it the unimpressively public hex.
So after they land on the unimpressively public hex, confirm the safety of the animals to Amy and Knuckles, we move to Eggman, who seems to already have a roboticization factory on the planet.
Oh, so Eggman does control a part of the unimpressively public hex? The entire population has been turned into badniks, so I guess he does. When did that happen?
So, yeah. Eggman seems to have this planet in his grasp. Not only that, but he has a group of 6 new minions on his side called the Deadly Six, which their race apparently being called Zeddy. Their names are as follows: Zor, Zamam, Master Zik, Xena, Zaz, and their leader, Zavik. Who are these new people? What's their backstory? Motivation? Are they the only Zeddy on this planet? Never explained. So these villains who the entire game's marketing campaign is centered around, these brand new villains Sega is hoping will be new staples of the series considering their future appearances, are underdeveloped evil machines who do things because. And yes, Eggman is one of those evil machines as well, with no discernible backstories in the game's continuity, but we give him some slack because he was the original. He was a bad guy in a dialogue-free game in 1991, you can only go uphill from here. But in future games, the majority of Sonic villains at least have some sort of motive. Gerald Robotnik in Sonic Adventure 2 vowed revenge on Earth for the military killing his granddaughter Maria when shutting down his creation of Shadow. Eraser Jin from Sonic and the Secret Rings is the genie from Aladdin, fed up of humans due to being ordered around, and now he vowed to control them in return. Merlina from Sonic and the Black Knight feared death, and chose to make a deal with the underworld to manipulate Sonic and make her kingdom eternal. And the villains who aren't like those and more like the Zeddy? Guess what? People don't like. So the Deadly Six sure don't get a pass here, especially with this much marketing behind them. When they market characters like that, I expect a lot more meat and potatoes behind them. Instead I just get the gravy. It's transparent, it's unfulfilling on its own, and you ask for a refund. Anyway, with these animals and the Zeddy, Eggman has brewed up a new plan to conquer the world. Hang on.
Why does Eggman still want to conquer Earth?
He's got the entirety of the unimpressively public hex in his hands. Ever since Sonic Adventure, we know that Eggman wants to conquer a planet and declare it his new empire, Eggman Land. Does it have to be Earth? In Sonic CD, Eggman was perfectly fine in taking control of Little Planet. It ain't Earth, but Earth itself didn't seem to be in much danger, so Eggman was perfectly satisfied with it. The only explanation I can dig up is maybe Eggman got greedy and eventually was fixated on just Earth, considering Sonic Colors has Eggman in possession of multiple planets, yet his main goal was still to mind control Earth. But here, his plan is to suck up energy on Earth, potentially kill chunks of the population and rule the planet then. I guess it's a suitable fear tactic, but at this point, the planet's gonna become kinda desolate. At least in Colors, you'll be controlling a perfectly healthy Earth. Might as well keep that unimpressively public hex, as it's a better empire at Earth at that point to make Eggman Land.
This would at least make a bit more sense if you bothered to explain everyone's motivations a bit more.
Okay, let's keep going. The first Zeddy sent out is Zaz, who Sonic naturally defeats with ease. Sonic and Tails then continue their hunt for the rest of the animals, heading to the desert ruins. Back with the baddies, Eggman is pretty disappointed in the Zeddy's recent performance. Once Zavik butts in as an act of rebellion, Eggman easily shuts them up with a magic conch that is apparently like Unicron's red screeches in the Transformers movie, as it basically hurts the Zeddy enough to have them submit.
No! I accept your terms! I accept!
Oh yeah, you know what I'm going to say.
When did Eggman get this shell? How did he know about the shell? Is it Zeddy legend? Did he just dig it up, decide to blow on it for fun, only to realize it screws with monsters' heads? How is it that SpongeBob has more fleshed out origins for their magic conch shell than yours? Also, this is my second review in a row with a SpongeBob joke. It's not on purpose, so don't expect it to be a running gag. So Sonic meets up, fights Zamam in the desert, and eventually sees Eggman lecturing to Zeddy once more. Like an idiot, Sonic decides to jump in and kick the conch shell away, much to Tails' objections. This naturally causes the Zeddy to rebel as they control Eggman's badniks, causing everything to turn on both the Doctor and Sonic.
Now, I know what you're thinking.
But Failin, how come you berate Sonic for doing something impulsive yet defend Star-Lord who does such in Infinity War? The reason being is that it needs to be consistent to the character and their personality. It needs to feel real, and it needs to feel human. Sonic has always been brash, headstrong, and does act first and ask questions later, absolutely. But he does seem to think quickly and act appropriately. When he does something suddenly, it's usually done with the best outcome in mind. That's just who Sonic is. Even in the earlier outings done by the same writers, so you can't say it's an issue because the recent writers have a different vision from the others. This just feels like a shoehorned way to kickstart a conflict and force Eggman and Sonic to team up. Maybe if the story's about addressing failure and making up for it, which doesn't mean you're entirely safe, but if done with that message in mind and focused on more than having it come out of nowhere, maybe, just maybe I would let it slide.
But it doesn't. So I'm moving on.
After some scuffling with Eggman, Sonic takes down Master Zik, now in Tropical Coast, and we cut back to the Zeddy.
This is getting really monotonous, but that's a game for you. You can't really structure a story like this any other way, so I am going to give the game a pass for how it's built.
So the Zeddy, now in control of Eggman's machines, hatch a plan to siphon the entirety of the Earth's energy and feed it to themselves and strengthen them.
Guess they're power hungry now. Good to know. You just gotta love this steep character progression. If they keep it up, they'll be as on par with this guy.
Now Eggman and Sonic decide to team up after some more insults towards the other. Eggman will find a way to shut down the energy-sucking machines before all of Earth is destroyed, while Sonic provides a way to take down the Zeddy to ensure nothing will get in the Doctor's way. Let me just cut in for a second.
Why is everyone a jerk to each other?
This is one of the most mean-spirited Sonic games I've played. I understand Eggman and Sonic bickering because years of being bitter enemies can do that to you. That is if they didn't team up before, multiple times, and Sonic was being pretty chill about it.
Oopsie.
But not only that, Sonic and Tails are at each other's throats for the majority of the game. They were never like this, yet all of a sudden they're questioning each other, yelling at each other, making passive-aggressive comments, completely destroying this tightly knit brotherly relationship these past 20 years have established. This is like having the MCU, and for the majority of the time, Iron Man and Captain America are the best of pals, yet without build-up, Civil War just happens. Like, this is wrong. This is all kinds of wrong. I feel like I'm playing a Sonic game, but every single character is Buck Cluck from Chicken Little. Back to the story. Eggman and Tails are at an abandoned factory to get some tools needed, where Tails and the Doctor get into an argument. So Sonic acts as the middleman to calm them down. Wait, what?
I do trust you, Tails, but the whole world's in danger because I did something stupid.
So, in the same game where Sonic's all about acting on impulse, all of a sudden he has to be the rational one who has to reason things out?
Hang on. So, the last cutscene was...
Yeah, well, teaming up with you feels like the end of the world, Eggman.
And the other cutscene was...
Before we start destroying each other, let's remember why we're working together.
Sure, okay. Make Sonic a completely different character. Carry on.
No, you don't. You trust Eggman more. Do you know how much that bites?
Oh, so now Tails is saying Sonic trusts Eggman more. Yet nothing until now implies otherwise. Am I playing the same game at this point? Yeah, beat Xena, Eggman and Sonic, and now they're arguing again. Great, let's just forget that last scene didn't happen either. Eggman then saves Tails from a corrupted Cubot thanks to Tails putting his head on a badnik, which has the Fox more in his favor now. Okay?
I'm sorry. I suddenly felt very mean.
Die, Jedi gods! What did I say?
And now Sonic's lecturing Tails for trying to fix Cubot. Best friends, ladies and gentlemen. Making it to Silent Forest, Tails tries to stop Sonic from activating a trapped animal capsule, causing the Fox to be trapped in its place and swept away. This naturally angers Sonic, and...
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
I've caused so much destruction. I should never have been created. This is who I am.
Now we're a sad story. We've gone from lighthearted romp to mean-spirited drama to angst-filled comedy. I'm sorry, but that too slow line is so try-hard it's just funny.
We'll add that to the list of unintentional, hilarious Sonic moments.
It might even open the gates of hell!
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald.
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
So Sonic angrily takes down Zor, while the Zeddy discover their latest capture was Tails, much to their surprise. Yet Zavok decides to roboticize Tails instead, which he taunts Sonic with. All the while, the Zeddy has nearly squeezed the Earth dry of its energy, essentially killing all life on it. Amy manages to send one last heartfelt message to Sonic, while Zavok reminds him that all he cares about is gone, and it's all his fault. What does Sonic think about all this? That his mistakes has costed the world?
Well, he never remarks on this again. Look in the next cutscene, we see Sonic. We see him just playfully throwing some rocks into the lava. It's fun! It's fun! What mass genocide did I just cause? It's all good.
So after being attacked by some supercharged Zeddy thanks to the energy they took from Earth, Eggman sacrifices himself to save Sonic. Any comments, Sonic?
Eggman!
Attaboy. Oh look! Sonic's actually reflecting on his friends. Wonder what he's gonna say about it with that poetic tongue of his. Well, what else did you expect? Sonic now comes face to face with the roboticized Tails. Earlier, Tails managed to save himself from total brainwashing, so he's just putting up an act. But Sonic doesn't know this. Now's the perfect time for Sonic to apologize for everything he's done. Try to reach out to whatever is left of Tails to bring him back to the light. Or just cut to the chase and not bring it close to any sort of arc. I gotta stop thinking there's more to this. The two take down the Zeddy once and for all, while Tails, suddenly out of his robot parts, sure, tries to shut down the machine. But uh-oh, looks like Eggman was alive after all. He faked his death so he could work on finishing a massive mech to take over what remains of Earth. Looks like Sonic was wrong all along to trust Eggman. As such, Sonic destroys Eggman's machine, restores all the energy to Earth, and everything's back to normal. Except the energy machine is still stationed on the unimpressively public Hex, and Eggman can always just go back and reactivate it. Heck, the Zeddy are still around since Eggman claims he'll find another conch, so these events can just repeat again. But who cares? Everything's back to normal and we learned a valuable lesson, such as...
Fail a lot, yell at your friends and your enemies, half-heartedly apologize, and eventually everything is going to work out in the end. Yeah, okay.
Sonic Lost World is a pretty good game. Don't get me wrong, don't let the story get in the way of what truly matters here, which is a fun gameplay experience. If you have a Wii U or PC, give it a whirl. But as a story, Lost World is questionable, to say the least. Crucial plot elements go unexplained, arcs go nowhere, and is overall incredibly mean-spirited. It's the definition of laziness, forcing characters to make contrived, inconsistent acts, all for the sake of driving a plot together. And that's no fun. Stories are fun because of the characters, and feeling like how and who they are actually steer the story naturally rather than the story steering them, because at that point, they're nothing but objects, components to a soulless machine. And maybe I'm being too harsh on a simple game for kids, but Sonic has always tried to stand out against franchises like Mario by building a world, cast of characters, mythology, and telling bigger, grander stories in comparison. They don't always hit bullseyes, but that ambition and scope is why I prefer Sonic over the portly plumber. It's why I love him and want him to improve. And a story like Colors can still be simple, yet coherent, so it's still no excuse. I know this is a story that I want, just like its world, Lost.
Alright, that was a trip. What's on the docket for the next review, huh? Let's hope this one's a bit better. Huh. It's an HD DVD. Haven't seen one of these in forever. Wonder what it is. Oh.